So, Taittiriya Upanishad, we will be reading the commentary by Swamiji of chapter 3, section 10. What is the page number?
308.
Okay, 308. It starts with the na kanchan vasto pratyachakshit. Om sahana vavatu sahano bhunaktu sahaviryam karva vahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om shanti shanti shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om Shanno Mitra Sham Varunaha Shanno Bhavatvaryama Shanna Indro Bruhaspatihi Shanno Vishnu Rurukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Ritam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanma Vavatu Tadvaktaram Avatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we are at almost towards the end of this Upanishad, and here Varun is talking to his son Bhrigu, who got the glimpse of the Brahman, and also the other students, giving them all kind of tips. Goal is that everybody should move towards that self-realization, and they talked a lot about food, and you have, for the different students, for the beginners, okay, or one who have not progressed too much yet, for them they can just focus on the food aspect, but then it's the entire world he's focusing on. That was the whole idea, and I've discussed that in the previous verses and all that in detail. And here they were talking about the aspect of Atiti Devo Bhava, and expansion of that do not turn away anybody who comes. And then Atithi, we talked about it. Atithi, jiska koi date nahi ho, suddenly jo aa jaye tumhare ghar ke samne. But then we also discuss, in today's world we have to be intelligent, and we cannot, I heard it in the Shastras, jo bhi aaya chalo we'll be in big trouble. So use your intelligence, but at least the people that we should be doing Atithi Bhavo, your relatives, your friends and acquaintances, you can expand it to that. That's also pretty good. So just use your discrimination in that, not blindly follow anything. And then, it says over here that, when they come, say food is ready, means do the nice preparation to welcome them, and whatever you have, you offer them. It's not like you have to. Swamiji will elaborate on it, because he took the approach that, hey, whatever you have, you can offer. You don't need to go beyond your limits. And then the other approach by others, Swamiji, was also nice one, that whichever way you treat the people, that's how you're going to get back in the world. If you treat people nicely in the world, you will also be treated nicely in the world. If a medium, you medium. If you treat badly, then people are going to, say some bad things to you. So I think both are very good lessons over here. And so this is what, and we'll see that there are a lot more points. Swamiji brought a lot. It's a commentary is quite large, so we'll probably finish that today. So maybe 2 different people can read, because it's so long. Any volunteers to read?
I can read it.
Yeah, go ahead, Nareshji. Yeah, you can read half of it, and then maybe if Urmilji want to read after that, she can do that. Yeah.
Do not turn away anybody who seeks shelter and lodging. This is vow. Let one therefore acquire much food by any means whatsoever. They should say, food is ready. If the food is prepared in the best manner, the food is given to him, the guest, also in the best manner. If the food is prepared in a medium manner, food is also given to him in a medium manner. And if the food is prepared in the lowest manner, the same food is also given to him in a lower manner. He who knows thus will obtain all the rewards as mentioned above. The Upasaka, who is generally a boy who is to return back to society and live as its pillar, living in living and working out the Hindu culture is exhorted, therefore, to live in recognition of the spiritual openness with all, especially an intimate openness of an indissoluble brotherhood with the Hindus.
Okay, the word is oneness, not openness. Do you have openness or oneness?
Oneness.
Oneness is very important. Oneness means he feels oneness with everybody. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Here it is not meant in the communistic sense. The
Communal. Communal sense, right?
Yeah. Communalistic. This is communalistic.
Okay.
Sense the word Hindu is universal rather than communal. Communal. He who respects and reveres the noble and the ethical value of life, who lives in self-control, whose mission in life is to end the animal in him and regain the kingdom of God within. All such men of cultural ambition are Hindus, and there is necessarily a deep affinity of soul between such men of similar values of life.
So I know Swamiji's language is a little bit difficult. He uses the word Hindu because that was the popular, even now it is there. But we know that this Hindu word is more coined by, people from outside, because Indus Valley civilization, it was Indus ka, they couldn't say it, so then Hindu H, because I think I was silent, I don't know, whatever it is. Indus se wo Hindu bana. Okay. And then, so Hindu, we call it Sanatan Dharma. That's why that word is getting more popular now, because Hinduism is really usually that as a ism word, it started by one prophet or one person. But Sanatan Dharma is, nobody can say that started by one person. It's like Swamiji gave a beautiful example. It's like somebody said, who is the author of physics? Hello? Nobody. It's the law done by God. That's what Sanatan Dharma. They're talking about universal thing. If they're talking about mind, it's mind of all being, whether you are a Chinese or American or Indian or who, does not matter. So we are not talking about the communal. The word they use, that this Hindu word is not in communal sense. So I think if we think about Sanatan Dharma, we will identify more with it. These are eternal laws that applies to everybody. So, and then what are the characteristic of Hindu or Sanatani? Is he who respects and reveres the noble and the ethical values of life. It does not matter who he deals with, that's what it is. Who lives in self-control, whose mission in life is to end the animal in him. Means he's trying to be virtuous living, and he kind of gives up all the lower things and regain the kingdom of God within. That's the whole thing. And such men of cultural ambitions are Hindus. Hindus are Sanatani. And he's saying that this person who is going to graduate from all of these students are going to graduate now. So he is telling them that to live in the recognition of spiritual oneness with all. That's what the whole idea is. That they're not talking in a communal sense, Hindu. Just do it for the Hindus and Baki forget it. No, not like that. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That this is for everybody. And that's why if you look at the history of India, all those refugees that came from other countries, India embraced them. The Iranis came, 4, 5, I don't know, a couple hundred years ago. And then the Parsis, and they came. And then, pata nahi aur kaun, kitne, sab kuch mix hai wahan pe. So many people. So that's what it is. Embracing everybody. That's what he's saying.
The boy going out into the world after his education is instructed so completely in the spiritual communism of the rishis. This was observed earlier both in the valedictory speech of the teacher at the close of initial studies and in the convocation address delivered at the time when the students were departing from the Gurukula.
So here that word is spiritual community. It's not like that communist wala communism nahi hai. So just be very, very clear. They are talking about a common theme. among people. That's what. So just remember that. Otherwise, you can get different meaning. So now they're taking us back to the early part of this Taittiriya Upanishad, and maybe later on, if you have a time at home, go back to these two verses in chapter 1, verse 9 and 11. And 9 was, they concluded that these are the things you should focus on, and whatever you have learned, spread the word to other people. Do the swadhyay first study it yourself, and do pravachan, swadhyay pravachan, everything. They keep repeating that whatever you have learned, don't need to keep it to yourself. Go and teach everybody. It's like, hey, somebody learns a skill somewhere, don't keep it to yourself, teach it to 10 other people. So that's what it is, spread the thing. And then the convocation address was, one was a concluding lecture where this is what he said. And that was like, hey, now you're going out in the world, what you should do. Like, we know that all these speeches and all, they always bring some CEO of some big company in our universities, and then he inspires the student, this is how you should do, and you've got the degree, but you're going to be facing the real life now and all that. And that is when he said, satyam vada dharmam cha, all those kind of things he said over there, that, hey, stick to your convictions, and satyam vada, speak the truth, all those things that we have to go back and read those things. That's what he's talking about, that these were the two things in this when they were talking about. Yeah.
The culture of Hinduism is based mainly upon duty, and the Hindu code of dharma is mainly a textbook explaining one's duties. The duties of a householder instill into him the idea of charity and the spirit of hospitality. It is considered as a duty unavoidable to a householder that he should entertain every guest that comes to him without date, atithi. Thus, the householder student, during his upasana, was told to consider this atithi seva as his vow.
So we have gone through it that, हमारे culture में it is embedded in it, कि कोई भी आए घर में तो उसका सम्मान करो, ये we know, we grew up in that culture. And I was thinking about it, it's not like that it happens only in India, because I know my husband and I have traveled around the world. Other countries also, they are very hospitable, and they go out of their way. And I remember a long time ago we had gone to Japan, and they were we stayed with one of his friends who was a Japanese in a small town in a Japanese household. सारे neighbors आए हमको greet करने के लिए. It was like, and they brought things, and it was unbelievable. And then when we our son was very young, like he was 9 months old, and we would go in shops and all, and they would give him little toys. इतने सारे इकट्ठे हो गए toys. उनका culture है वो, baby has come, so shop वाले देते थे. Like, I thought, that I was giving back to them. I thought maybe they're giving him to, no, this is for you, for your baby. It just boggled my mind that it is there in other countries also. And some of the, we had gone into Indonesia. It's a Muslim country, but they have Bali over there, which is Hindu. So they are nicely integrated with Hinduism, a lot of them. And there also, they went out of their way for hospitality. It is so, we can't say it is just a heritage of India or anything. There are many other places they follow this Atithi Devo Bhava.
I think mostly it is the eastern part of the world.
Yes, they have. You are absolutely right. That whole thing, and in the end, we know that the influence of these Sanatan Dharma has spread in all that areas beautifully. So that's what they're talking about. And so we already have that in our culture. That's what. And they're basically saying idea of charity and the spirit of hospitality. Even the idea of charity, in other religion, they have made it very fixed that, 20% you give it and all that. Here, they have kept it open. That, hey, you want to give 50, whatever you want to give, but you should have a spirit of charity. Not that what I just hoard everything to myself. If I have, share it with other people. That's what they're trying to say.
In order to fulfill this vow, the students will have to entertain and worship the sick, the poor, and the deserving travelers with shelter and food. This needs that the householder must have the necessary means. Therefore, it is said that let one acquire much food by any means whatsoever. The latter part of the equation quotation may sound like declaration of a modern lusty rich to whom procuring wealth by any means seems to be the ambition and the occupation. Here it only means that the one who wants to live a healthy spiritual life in this world must be able to work hard in whatever field of activity he finds himself with all sincerity and perseverance so that he may get enough honest profit.
So we had discussed that the householders ashram, they call it, that there are 4 ashrams we had discussed, grahastha, brahmacharya, grahastha, vanprasth and sannyas. Brahmacharya is student life, and then the grahastha ashram. These people who are graduating is going to enter in grahastha ashram. So in the grahastha ashram, they have to be have enough means so they can support themselves very well and they can support the sick, poor and the deserving travelers. This is a symbolism of, hey, take care of the society's other people who are not able to help themselves, the sick and the poor, and the people who need when they are traveling and all that. They need help, with the accommodation and food and all that. That's what they're saying. And that this one thing can be very controversial. If somebody misunderstands it, can take it totally wrong. It says, let one therefore acquire plenty of food by any means whatsoever. Say, hey, hook or by crook, chori karke, chalo mera khajana bharo. No. Loot part kar. No, that's not what they are saying. Very, very important. They are saying, whatever talent you have, work hard to make enough. That's what they are saying. Don't become lazy. And there is a verse of Karma Yoga where Bhagwan says, non-action is not an option. Bhagwan is going to give me everything, sit there and do nothing. And somebody might say, hey, why these sannyasis are not doing anything? They are doing a lot. If there is a dhongi sannyasi, yes. So, but otherwise they are doing the highest kind of duty. They are studying the shastras, they are spreading the word to other people and all that. So we have to recognize, and that's why we have to support them, because they don't go and earn, but they put all their thing in that. So keep that context clear. Otherwise koi bolega ki भगवान ने अर्जुन को बोला उठा अपना वो गांडीव और मार इन सब लोगों को, बोला go kill your cousins because they are not giving me something, or it is for the rajya and all that. He was not fighting for the kingdom. He was fighting because he was a soldier. That was his job. So we have to keep the context very, very clear. Otherwise you can take it totally wrong. That's all I'm about to say.
This is not a message prescribing an unethical way of living or immoral way of procuring wealth. It only insists that the boy, after education, when he goes back to his village, in the arrogance of his undigested knowledge, should not prove himself impotent in life. He is told to act diligently and sincerely in whatever field of life he finds an opening, and through sincere and hard work to earn as much as he can. And with that earning, keep a house warm with charity and hospitality.
Swamiji explained it as beautiful, simple language. Keep your house open with warm with charity and hospitality. That sounds like a beautiful house, right? So he's saying that for that, work hard, earn enough money with whatever talent you have. That's what he's saying.
As soon as a guest comes into the house at a time which is appropriate, then a noble Hindu householder must say, food is ready. The meaning of this passage and the ardor of love and the warmth it indicates cannot be better expressed than by a contrast with how we are behaving now under the influence of our un-Hinduistic education. In many of the homes, we rarely hear the ready cry of food is ready. On the other hand, we hear suggestive soft hissing such as, I hope you must have come after your meal, or perhaps you will have to return home for your lunch.
Lunch at home. So we know what they're talking about. And ये हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना खाना तैयार है. जब बहुत भूख लगी हो, those words are such sweet words, right? Khana tayar hai. And then I was just thinking ki, you get so bored of eating your own food. So when you go to somebody's house and they say khana tayar hai, those words are even more sweeter because you're getting some different cuisine, different taste, and some other skill in cooking. Anyway, so we know the bhav they're talking about. So, I think that most of us are still khana tayar hai type of people, so we don't need to worry. But he's just warning that, when people come, don't tell them that, oh, you have already eaten your food. वो बेचारे खाया हो या नहीं खाया हो शर्म के मारे बोलेगा ही नहीं फिर वो.
But in Punjab, it's a running joke. He says, the food is ready, but your train is ready too.
Yeah, that is so funny. Yeah. So I think there are I'm sure that we Indians have a lot of jokes
Much
around.
better when you say that in Punjabi.
Yeah. Punjabi, it'll sound even more interesting. And I have, somebody was talking, I don't know some show I was watching, and the person said, this person had a habit of bringing friends at home, किसी को भी, I still remember that whenever my friends came to my house, we had a joint family. My mom and the group of women, they always offered them food. और नहीं होगा तो कुछ बना के देंगे उनको, मगर देंगे जरूर. So I think that this is really, it's such a sweet thing that if you think about this. So that he said that this person used to always bring some guest, अपने friends को ले आता था कभी भी. And saying the mother was so good. No matter when the guest came, she will always, if the food is ready, she will give. If not, she will go and cook. And I think this is how in India we show love also. I've talked about it. Toos ke khilao. And I had another, I don't know if you guys had that problem. यहाँ आने के बाद we get used to putting the food in the middle. And then we say, okay, everybody take, right? We don't serve each one. We don't have that habit, right? So हम लोग को वैसी habit पड़ गई. And so sometimes, some guests came from India, this is a long time ago, and after a while, like, they were not taking it. Because उनको habit नहीं है कि वो ले, unless somebody serves them, they can't eat. Do you know that there are such people? You guys look like, there are people, and they are usually, they come from India, वो भूखे ही बेचारे रह जाएंगे. Because if you don't put in their plate, they don't know how to take it. So you have to literally, even if you put in the middle, you got to take the patila and you have to put it. And वो ना भी बोलेंगे ना तो भी डाल दो थोड़ा सा. And I had to learn all these tricks. Otherwise, बेचारे guests भूखे रह जाएंगे. So it's unbelievable. So many different things.
Somebody else wants to take over, Umaji?
Yeah, somebody can take over. That's fine. Urmilji, are you okay?
No, my
Throat is
mouth
bad?
is hurting.
Okay,
I decided to
then
get started.
Meena ji or Anil ji, whoever wants to do it, can do it. Meena ji, go ahead. You can do it.
Okay, where are we?
In fact, to keep a hospitable home. That is...
So what is the end of the last paragraph? In fact, to keep a hospitable home.
What is the page number? Maybe you guys have the same book, because my page number is totally off.
I have the same book.
It's page 310.
No, I don't have the same
Okay,
book.
Anil ji, you can read then if you know. In fact, to keep. You have that paragraph? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I know.
That's okay, no problem.
In fact, to keep a hospitable home nowadays is not very easy, even for the richest man in the country, because of the dire poverty and stupendous idleness that have come to curse the land of the rishis. The main cause for this is certainly not the foreign rule, but the foreign way we live in our society, divorced from our culture, perpetrating dangerous experiments with the life and wealth of the society. The Hindu Dharma alone can flourish in Aryavrats. Any other weeds gathered in the jungles of other nations must necessarily die away upon this sacred soil. Thus the modern madness for a secularism divorced from sacredness, the lunatic hurry with which we are striving to encourage the worship of gold in this land of gods, all these are bringing about more and more confusion and instability into our midst.
I think Swami जी ने जो देखा ना उस जमाने में, अभी तो थोड़ा slightly better हुआ है. India is progressing in economics and all that, and the middle class is becoming more wealthier and all that. Things are changing for the positive, which is really nice. But we know that we have seen that extreme poverty in India and all that. So he was just saying that, the Rishi Munis are saying that, but these days, घर में किसी को खाने को नहीं, बेचारा क्या करेगा, किसको देगा, So, but he's also going a little deeper and saying, why did this happen? Okay, we keep blaming on the foreign rule, but actually it is a foreign way of living that we adopted. That's what he's saying. If all he's trying to say that our Vedic culture had seen every aspect of it. They are not just saying that God realization, but in that process, they don't want us to be like poor and all that. Prosperity is also a very, very important thing for a country, and development in all cultural, because if you see our Vedas, they are so rich in, they have Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, mechanics, how to build a thing, everything is there. So their science and spirituality was together. And if you follow the Vedic culture, you will be very prosperous. That's what he's trying to say. But when you adopt like wrong things from there, somewhere in our Vedas, it is like, or maybe it was Chanakya Niti, I don't remember where I read it. There are a couple of professions, if it becomes for profit, it is a disaster. And it said 3 things in there: health, education, and spirituality. The moment profit motive comes in there, it won't be good. And we know what is happening with the health system here. Now the doctors are so frustrated. The insurance companies are becoming the doctors. They are denying this, denying that. And in education, how much fees they charge and things like that. Ridiculous, absolutely. And then, profit, every college will say, we are the best, we are Ivy League, we are this, we are that. Education se focus chala jata hai. And then spirituality mein, if you become like a dukaan khol ke baith gaye ki ye puja karo, wo puja karo, give me $100, $200 like that, again there's a problem. So they were so doordarshi the ekdam ki ye 3 cheez mein. So it is go in those olden days. I still remember that the doctor used to come to our house. He was a family, all of us have had it in our generation. We know that that's how the doctor was. A family doctor hota tha. And my dad, when he used to give the fee, wo kabhi ginta nahi tha. He used to always put in the pocket. It's a kind of understanding. Inflation goes up, my dad may have increased. I don't even know. He never asked for a fixed fee and all. It was just some kind of understanding, that, okay, you are doing the job, you have to be sustained. But he's not saying, oh, long list of things, this is what you have to give me. And we know education and all that was by charity. And, all the people who were like have ashrams and all that goes by donation. You don't have anything fixed, Even right now here in Hare Krishna, you go, you can eat the food in the Sunday. They will serve you, whoever comes there. Whether you give the money or not money, doesn't matter. So that some basic things are very, very kind of good that we should go back to it. That's what it is.
Also, Umaji, this line says it all. Worship of gold in this land of gods.
Gods, yes. See that it's few words, but makes you think, right? And also this, the modern madness for secularism, divorce from sacredness. Oh my God, there are some people in my own family also. They will be his own religion ke naam se allergy, because whenever they think of the religion, they think of some Hindu-Muslim fight or something. Hey, that's not what we're talking about over here. It's a Vedic thing. Like we were talking, it's a universal thing. Bhagavad Gita, I don't even call it like a religious book. Hey, this is Lord Krishna. He's not talking about, there's no such word as a Hindu in the entire Bhagavad Gita. Now we are reading it, or in the Vedas. You will never find that word. They're talking about Sanatan Dharma. Hey, these are the laws of nature, laws of the mind. This applies to everybody. And they're talking about universal oneness all the time. So that's what it is, that we are getting away from our own time-tested research, how we should live. Slowly things are coming back. They are coming. Environment, इतना बड़ा हल्ला गुल्ला इन्होंने किया अपने में तो, my God, it was part of our life. We would never pollute anything if you go by the Vedic thing. Because you are that only. You are worshipping the tree, and you're not going to throw trash at it. We rivers, they worship everything, but then usko bhool gaye hai wo, and then they start polluting. When they forget what the message is from the Vedas, then they start polluting. So that's what it is.
And I think, Mamaji, we are looking for joy in the wrong places.
Yeah, all those things kind of follow when you get away from the basics, what they are trying to tell. That's why it's so important that these verses, we understand them correctly. That's also another part of it. All those negative things that have come in India, because people have misunderstood, they have not inquired what it is, the purpose is. They just blindly follow. Andhavishwas and all those things start coming in. At least one thing is good, that after reading all that, itna jaldi koi buddhu nahi bana sakega tumhe. You won't get scared for, all these people when say, oh, ye nahi karoge to ye ho jayega, wo ho jayega, It's like, you won't get scared.
Under these circumstances of poverty and the consequent privations, it is absurd to say that a Hindu should try to be as openly charitable as his forefathers were in the golden era of our civilization. In the context of our present times, we have to add many buts and ifs to this statement. It would be sufficient for us if we make our home charitable enough for the near and dear ones, and also for the respected and revered members of the society who are the upholders of our sacred culture and are the champions of our national and religious progress along the right lines.
So here he's just telling you that even though the Vedas are saying that, be totally charitable, use your common sense according to the time. We already discussed that. You don't need to follow anything blindly, because it will be. That's why I think that Swamiji's own statement somewhere was that the religion has to be strong at its foundation, but has to be flexible above, in a sense, change with time. And I think Hinduism gives that, Sanatan Dharma gives that little freedom. But if you become totally fanatic and start doing exactly jo 5,000 saal pehle hota tha, you will be in trouble. And that's why some of those religions, those fanatic people, that's why they get into trouble. And aise karna hai to aise hi hona chahiye. Hey, times have changed, so change with it. As the basic value is same rakho. That's what he's saying. So I think it's very important paragraph that he said, that if you are charitable enough for the near and dear ones, also for the respected and revered member of society. There's some people whom you know about them, and they run by charity, then support them. So we can kind of take it in our own personal way, how we can apply this, rather than applying it totally blindly. That's what he's telling in this paragraph, that have the freedom to use your intelligence and do it nicely, but follow these principles. That's what he's saying.
To be charitable does not mean to be foolish. To borrow so that we may give plenty in charity is suicide. In a vulgar and misconceived sense of vanity, to overdo charity is again an ugly mischief which none but fools would appreciate. The Shruti here says that if you have prepared the food of a particular standard, you feed your guest with the same food. If the householder had prepared medium quality or the simplest of food, he is not asked to prepare anything extra for his guest, but the mantra commissions him only to share his food, whatever it be, with others. He who understands this meaning and practices this comes to again all the above mentioned fruits.
So this is also very nicely he said it. Whatever I was saying earlier, that whatever you have, you share it. He's not saying go out of the. So India में बोलते हैं ना, मुझे एक बहुत बड़ी शादी करनी है. Then they start borrowing those people money and then just to show off. बोलते हैं ना, जितनी चादर हो उतना ही पाँव फैलाओ. I love that statement. No, I think most of us Indians do follow that. That's why we have savings and things like that. हम लोग अगर 100 कमाएंगे तो 20 उसमें से रखेंगे. We will save it, right? All of us have that habit. And that's what he's saying. Whatever you have, you can manage and still be charitable within that and all that. You don't need to go beyond your means. Oh, the Shastra said it, so by any means, so I have to borrow. No, that's not what they're saying. That's what he's saying.
From the standpoint of Bhrigu, this section contains another deeper message. A man of realization must, by honest and sincere means, collect around him the largest number audience from all around the world, so that he may propagate the noble truths of Vedanta for the happiness of man. By any means whatsoever is confusing when it is understood in its direct meaning. It reads as though it is an unequivocal scriptural sanction for the philosophy of gains preached by the modern profit-mad social ulcers. But when it is applied to a man of self-realization who is attempting to create a field all around the world to spread this universal culture of peace and love, it reads as an instruction of Varna to Bhrigu, impressing upon him the fact that one must by all means at one's command try to attract the attention of one's age and address it in its language.
Yeah. So there's another very important aspect that he brought, that by whatever means, remember he was talking to the two different groups of people. One was all the other students, hey, you should have a very prosperous household and all that. And now Bhrigu, one who is a self-realized, his job is to make other people go on that path. So he should, and we have talked about it, that a lot of these swamis and all who came from India over here, Prabhupada ji or Chinmayanand ji or Yogananda and all that, they came, and how many people, abhi tak log un path pe jate hain unse inspire hoke, even after they have left the world, because they created that whole thing that by all means at their command try to attract more attention. And here in the Hare Krishna they call it book distribution. Every day they go out and they distribute Bhagavad Gita and all that, and there's so many heartwarming stories. Most of them unko bhaga dete hain, they don't want it, but there are few people who get attracted and change their life. So many like that great things happen. So this is what he's talking about, that he should be doing that. And Swamiji himself, I heard, when he came down from the Himalayas, and he felt like he was himself very educated, he was a patrakar and all that, and he like the elite group had become so divorced from the Vedanta. And he felt that so much value that he has to bring them back. Nobody was ready to listen to him. Then he would go on a bike himself with a bhopu to advertise about his talk. In the beginning, hardly anybody came. Then the more and more educated people started coming. Oh, he's talking in English. And this, that, they started getting a little more impressed. And then he started coming. So he did that exactly. Whatever, at that time he had a bike and a bhopu. So he just used that, to attract people. So that's what he's trying to say.
The Vedic teacher understood that this eternal truth cannot be preached in the same language at all times in the world. Society and patterns of living change from era to era, so that reinterpretations of the truths are needed from time to time. Bhrigu has been instructed here by any means whatsoever to bring the generations together, to listen to act upon to, and to live in the perfections preached in Vedanta.
So he just, again, to the Bhrigu, he's saying that things change, pattern of living changes. So when he said by any means whatsoever, means change according to time. Imagine that how much freedom is given. It's like, I heard that when Swamiji came, he wanted to teach Vedanta in English. And in those days, that one group of Pandit, they opposed him so much. He's saying, you are being blasphemous, you can't teach this Vedanta in English. How can you do that? Blah, blah, whatever, Those narrow-minded people really put a lot of roadblocks for him. So, hey, like I was saying that in Chinmaya Mission, they say they have different types of Swami. Someone go in the small villages, sit on the dirt and teach the people. And there are others who go to 5-star hotel and maybe go in some jet, and because those people are rich, the people who want to learn Vedanta. Does not matter. Whatever works, that's what you do. But the idea is that whatever you have learned, share it with the world. That's what he's telling Bhrigu.
Should I continue? It's 12:30.
Yeah, I think we can do that next time. You're right, because those concepts are a little bit. No, there are 2 paragraphs, and there is a little more stuff in it. So we can finish it next time. In fact, I also have to go. Somebody, I had asked him to come. So, okay, so we will stop here. Any comment, question about this? Okay, we'll meet next time. Everybody have a great week, and I'll close. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kashchit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Everybody have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
Okay.
Hari Om.